Alright, today I'm going to make one of my all-time favorites. Is green chili stew, or commonly known as chili verde. I'm going to use some olive oil here in the pan. Not much, about 2 tablespoons or so. What I've done is I've taken some country style ribs, which is a sliced up Boston butt, pork shoulder, and I removed some of the major part of the fat, and I saved the bones, because the bones are going to add flavor to the stew. So what I'll do is I'll give that a quick little stir fry. I grew up out in New Mexico. I lived about 40 miles from Hatch, New Mexico, and the town I lived in, there was also chili fields there in that town too. So, a lot of history where I grew up. Pancho Villa would come over and raid a Catholic church every once in a while there. Pat Garrett was murdered there. In fact, I rode my dirt bike not too far from where he was attacked and shot. He's buried there in town. I'll put up a picture of my the front yard of where I grew up. There's a lot of history out there. I moved to Georgia in 1974. Graduated from high school, come out to visit my grandmother, and met my wife, and ended up staying. She said she didn't lose anything out there. It's live whether they're happy here or out kind of unhappy. All right, I got the bones going pretty good. Now I'm going to add the meat that I took off from the bones. The Billy the Kid and all roamed around out there where I grew up. In fact, out there where we used to deer hunt with some of his areas that he and the regulators did their thing. I've seen the jail where he was where he escaped. There's all kind of stories about Billy the Kid, but some of them you can believe and some of them you can't. Who knows the real truth? I went to elementary school. It was at MacArthur Elementary School there, and it was named after General MacArthur, Douglas MacArthur, named after his dad, who was stationed there in Fort Selden, I believe it is. When his dad was out there as a cavalry soldier, I think he was in charge of the fort there. All right, I'm going to let this brown up just a little bit, and I'll get back with you. I'm still letting it brown up. I got it in the Dutch oven on a gas stove on medium heat, on medium flame, whatever you want to call it. So I just want to put a gentle browning on it. We were talking about the history out in New Mexico. I'll put a picture up there of the mountain I'm talking about. On the opposite side of the mountain, we had an army post by the name of White Sands Missile Range and Proving Ground. they test rockets and different types of weaponry out there on that range. Braun, the German scientist from World War II, had a home there, and that's where the Apollo rockets were tested, and there was another site not too far from there that has since been called named Lyndon Baines Johnson test facility. That's where the rockets were tested to make sure they were operational. First one thing another. Then they took them on the other side of the mountain to shoot them off. They still shoot off rockets today. All right, I'm gonna add my onion. This is about a tennis ball size onion, diced up real fine. Gonna mix that up with it. Also on that missile range I was talking about, they had an emergency landing strip for the shuttle, and the shuttle landed there one time. I thought that was pretty cool. I lived not too far from where they tested the atomic bomb. A place it's now called Trinity Site, where the bomb was first exploded, and it was built and all there in New Mexico. A lot of history in New Mexico. I've always heard that if you want to go on vacation, take a look at the state you're living in. There's no telling what kind of history your state has to offer. Like Pat Garrett, he was a marshal there, and he did all kind of got all kind of posses after criminals, and first one thing to another, and all throughout there. Some of the stories you can believe, and some of them you can't. You just have to do the research and make sure that what you're reading is true. But it makes for good reading. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes up to this stage. What I'm going to add now is some Mexican oregano. It's going to be about a teaspoon on that. I mean, that's cumin, teaspoon of cumin, and a teaspoon of Mexican oregano. And what I'm going to do is let that meld in there, what they call blooming, or to bloom. I'm going to let that sit and bloom for about 2 minutes. All right, now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. Stir that up in there real good. I asked Mama, 30 some odd years ago, one of the ladies at the church or one of her friends at the beauty shop, she knew anybody that had a recipe for this green chili stew, and she sent me the recipe. But some things I could have, some things I had on hand at that time, some things I didn't. Okay, now I'm going to add 4 cans of green chili. That's the 4-ounce can of green chili. And you can add more if you want to. I wish I had some hatch chili. Here on the East Coast, it's kind of hard to get them at certain times of the year. And I'll rinse these cans out too. I also have potatoes going in here, but I'm not going to add the potatoes for a long while now. What I'll do is I'll put this in the oven at 250, 275, an hour or so, until the meat starts getting real tender. And I'll add the potatoes in there and cook the potatoes till they get done. Now I'm going to add a can of green chili sauce, or an enchilada sauce, just whatever you can find on hand. And that's a 10-ounce can of that. Stir that in good. Now, this pot's for me. My wife can't have green chilies anymore. Every once in a while I get the urge for a pot, a bowl. I'll make some, eat some, and freeze some. Save some from a rainy day. Alright, since this is for me, I got a hold of some dried New Mexico green chili flakes. And I'm going to put some of those in there. I guess about a teaspoon. This is the hot green chili. And I can add more if I want. Alright, I'm going to add some chicken stock to this. It'll be a quart. You can use homemade chicken stock. You can use vegetable stock, beef stock, just whatever kind of stock you want to use. I'm just using stuff what I have on hand. I thawed these out, the country style ribs out last night. Okay, I'm going to rinse the cans out, and I'll get back with you in just a little bit. Okay, just now took it out. Been in here an hour. Stir it up. Get a fork. What I want to do also is to taste. Make sure I don't get a bunch of oil off the top. That's good. That's good. Now, at this point, what you might want to do for yourself, me and the wife can't have salt, blow up like balloons. What I want to do now, you see how easy it breaks apart? That's what I want. That's what I want right there. Alright, now I'm going to add a can of diced tomatoes with green chilies, 10-ounce can. Now you can add any kind of vegetables you want into this. You can add corn. You can add. I've seen it done with squash and zucchini in big chunks. Of course, that's added in very end. All right, what I've got here is 4 Yukon Gold potatoes. Washed them real good. But I even got a scrub brush I use for my potatoes. Dice. And then stir that up real good. And then what I'm going to do is put this back in the oven for another hour. I'm going to check it in about 30 minutes to see if the potatoes are done. And then you can choose to make a cornstarch slurry or a flour and water slurry, and make this soup a little bit thicker. With the flour and water, I would suggest making a roux out of it. Brown that flour pretty good before you do that. Put it in with the broth here. Okay, I'm going to put it back in the oven, 275 for about an hour, and I'm going to come back and check it about 30 minutes. Alright, been 30 minutes. I'm going to go in here and check, see how we're doing. Yep, that's what I'm after right there. Alright, now I'm going to put the lid on this and I'm going to let it sit for about an hour and let it cool down just a little bit. Let those ingredients mellow together, and then I'll plate it up and show you different ways to use this. And of course there's different recipes. There are grandmothers, so there's no really an authentic way, no really wrong way, no really right way. Just make it your way. But first you got to add love into it before you even start. Alright, I'm going to show you one step that I like to do is to get some meat. We'll get a couple of pieces of meat and get down in the bottom, get some of that green chili and potato or 2, not many. And then we'll take a fork and just kind of mash things up just a little bit. There we go. We'll wash out his hand. Kind of do it easy. Alright, now you can get you some of these little small street tacos and warm them up, and eat it just like this. See? And you just fold it, and you got yourself a little small street taco. Okay, now another thing is to fill this bowl up with as much meat and potatoes as you like. You can put sour cream in there if you want to. You can take you some avocado chunks and chunk them up in there, and eat it with a rolled up tortilla, either flour or corn, warmed up. Or when I was a kid, we used to get these kind of burritos. Oop, that's got bone. I don't want the bone. You get these kind of burritos in a restaurant. And you can, I don't have any, but you can get you some Mexican cheese. Either put some on the inside, or how I like to do is just a roll. Don't have to be enough pretty. And make it wet. Make it a wet burrito. Make a mess too while you add it, Joe. You can put you a few potatoes and all on the top or on the side, just however you want to do it. Just make it yours. You sprinkle some cheese across the top, Mexican cheese, American shredded cheese. Put some Spanish rice there on the side with a little salad on the side, or refried beans. I have put pinto beans in this and for my stew. Okay, I just wanted to everybody to have a good time and learn a little bit about me and my exploits out in New Mexico. And I enjoyed everybody doing this for everybody. And come back and see me sometime. As I said in the past, invite family and friends to your table, make a memory, and put a smile on their face. Papa Joe. Until next time, see you, bye.